I would eat the in-between meals. So I'd have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but I'd have a slice of pizza in between, or a hot dog in between, or a cheesesteak in between.
A hot dog?
Yeah, why not? But not just one. No one eats one hot dog. I'd have like 4.
See, this is why it's so important for me to keep on asking this guy more questions, because for the people that are watching this all the time, they're looking at Nick, he asked all the right questions, he's got beautiful skin tone. No one realizes that you are a fat bastard, 25 pounds overweight.
That's right. Yeah,
so a lot of times when people, you know, Mike Lynch is a trainer, 30 years, we've been there too. Sirens start going off in the body. Free testosterone goes down. SHB, sex hormone binding globulin goes up. Cortisol, stress hormone goes up. Starvation, when the body starts to, what's called leptin and ghrelin. These are satiety mechanisms in the brain start to go, hey, you're starving to death. Your body doesn't know that you're not in the woods with no food.
It thinks there's a famine. All right, Mike, welcome back. Looking good. I like the green sweater. You're,
Do you?
It's like a summer sweater. Yeah, this is something I talk to my wife about all the time. She likes summer sweaters. I never wore a summer sweater before, but a lot of people do. And you look great.
Thanks, buddy. It's the leprechaun in me.
Ah, I see.
It's the Irish, hence the name Lynch.
Do a little shave down on the head, get the green sweater on. Where's the pot of gold?
You know what, Nick? Don't have it yet.
Okay.
But you know,
We're
this
working
is,
on
you
it.
know what this is, Nick?
Yeah.
Quick story.
Yeah. Are they ever quick?
Nick would like me to be faster, but it's not in my DNA. So he'll just have to deal with it. If any of you don't know, I had some cancer on my nose. It was, what was it? Squamous, right, Nick? Squamous. So that's the deadly one. I was growing my hair a couple of episodes back. You look, the hair was growing back. But I had some stuff in my head, and then I was growing the hair, Nick, and I got to look every 30 days. And my thing was this. Mrs. Lynch said she was going to look in there, but not sound like a dick. My hair is so thick. And I was like, you know what? She's never going to, like, God forbid there's something in there, right? And she doesn't see it. How does that go down, Nick, right? Like, because if she misses something, because the hair is so thick, now, and it gets somewhere, and now I got to do chemo, am I going to be blaming her? So I was like, you know what, Lynch? Just do the peach with teeth.
That's it.
It doesn't particularly look great, Nick, but you know what?
Oh, you have a good shaped head. It looks fine.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, if you say so, no, I'm going to just buzz it all the time. But, you know, like, I want the hair, Nick, but it's not worth dying for. So, you know, offset it with the green sweater. Thank you so much for the compliment. I appreciate it. It means a lot coming from a guy like you.
All right. Just like that.
So here we go. Thank you for listening to my nonsense.
I also did want to mention in the beginning this time, you know, we always ask at the end, but I'm going to ask in the beginning this time. Give us a like on this video, give us a comment on this video, share it with some people. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, give us a subscribe. It really helps us get more of these videos out and try to attract more higher profile guests on the show. And we want to do that for the audience. We want to do that for all of you. And all it takes is just a little bit of engagement from you. So please, if you could just take a second before the video starts and make sure you're subscribed to our channel and give it a like if you liked it and a comment at the end, that would really help.
You know what? I love that Nick did that. And thank you for the, you know, we set out about just shy of a year to do this. And between Nick and myself, we feel like we have a wealth of knowledge to unleash to the world. And there's a lot of you that are diehards that are watching, but obviously we want that number to grow. And if you can just kind of, for the diehards that are watching every week and we know who you are and we really appreciate them, right, Nick?
Yeah.
Just pass it along. It takes 2 seconds because we want this to grow, and it will motivate us to do more and more. And like Nick said, get better and better guests to give you a wealth of knowledge to make your life the best it can be.
All right. Well, with that being said, this week I wanted to talk about dieting strategies that are really working against people to reach their weight goals. And there are so many different diets out there. And of course, you can try many different diets, but most times people end up right back where they started. And they don't know what to do. They don't know where to turn. And I'm hoping we can just offer people this week just a few pointers on how to get themselves to that ideal body weight. You know, we've talked previously in a past episode about the reasons why you don't want that excess body fat on. We all know that there are health problems associated with that. But a lot of people just don't know what to do, and they don't know where to begin to start that journey. There are just so many eye-opening statistics when it comes to diets, and 95% of diets fail within 1 to 2 years.
Is it 95% of that?
Yes, it is sad. That is a staggering number. I mean, that's basically everyone. You know, 95% means pretty much everybody who tries to diet, they end up right back where they were.
You're a smart guy. Why do you think that is, Nick?
I think most people take it to an extreme. I think most people don't ease their way in and change their lifestyle. They try to get a quick fix. And, you know, I'm guilty of this as well, but I was one of the very few who was able to keep it off. A number of years ago, I used intermittent fasting to take off 15, 20 pounds that I was trying to get rid of, and I held it off. But because I paired intermittent fasting with dietary change. And that for me was what was able to keep that weight off that I had back on. So, you know, sometimes you can use the extreme diets to give you the kickstart, maybe to get you started in the right direction. But it's always going to come back to changing the types of food you're eating, the amounts of food you're eating. You know, portion control can be really big for people, but, you know, no carbs in my diet. I'm not going to eat before noon. I'm not going to do all these things. I'm never going to do this again. It's never going to work because eventually you're going to go on vacation. Eventually you're going to get sick. Eventually you're going to have a big family party, and then you're going to forget the next day. And then all of a sudden it's going to be a week and you've been eating carbs again, and it's going to be 3 weeks. Now you can't go back and you just feel defeated, and you're going to go back to the same bullshit eating habits that you had before if you go that extreme.
So I've known you roughly since I've been about 20 years old. I remember you had a head of hair like this.
I
It
did
was
have a
like,
lot of
it
hair.
was like a clown. I saw him on a skateboard. I was like, who is this guy with all the hair? It was actually very cool looking. Back in the day, I don't know if it was, but today you would be like a rock star if you had that moth, right? Like I never thought, I don't remember you as a guy that would have went on an extreme diet, let's say, and like to do radical shit. What is the heaviest that Nick Skolnick, like how far off the charts were you as far as weight?
My problem was that, you know, most people, right, up until their mid-20s, they can eat whatever they want, and it doesn't matter. Skateboard. I was doing a physical job. We were moving around a lot, but I worked in television production, and there are snacks out all the time.
Really?
So they have what's called crafty, and the crafty is like a table, and it's just set up with a bunch of stuff. None of it's healthy. So it's cookies, it's chips, it's, you know, this thing, it's that thing, and it's always there. And I would just walk by, grab something, keep going, because you think like, I gotta, you know, put some fuel in the engine.
Is that out? I've been on a movie set before. Is that craft table? It's a craft table, right?
Yeah.
Is that out?
Craft
Like
service.
craft service, right? They have tractor trailers. People don't realize that.
They have trailers where people will make you food, depending on like the level of job you're on. But I've been on jobs where people walk around with trays of food as you're working, and they bring you stuff.
So when there's tables like that, are they out 24/7, Nick?
It's out the full job. Yeah.
Really?
It's out the full job. Plus they're making you lunch. Plus they're doing this, and plus they're doing that.
No shit.
Yeah.
And they're catering to, so that it's not Joe shit the rag man, as my dad would say, food. It's good food.
Again, not every job, but yes, on the bigger jobs, yeah, the food's always out there. So it was just easy to do it.
Then where, like when you're fattest, how much weight have you needed to
I'm
lose?
5'11". I think the heaviest I ever was like 200 pounds.
And what are you now?
Like 175.
So you were 25 pounds overweight.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other part of it is that for a long time, I would do a lot of what's called robotic camera operating, and you're just sitting there. And so I would end up on these jobs where I'd be sitting in a chair operating a camera with a joystick, like a remote control, for 10 hours a day for weeks at a time. And then I'd be eating as if I was working a physical job, but I kind of wasn't anymore. I had graduated to a point where I was sitting a lot more.
Right.
And I think this happens probably with a lot of people too. Their activity slows down, their calories ramp up a little bit, and all of a sudden you just start reaching a point and it happens really quick. I was also on a job at one point where a lot of the people were on Atkins, so they were eating a ton of meat. And so we were going out to steakhouses all the time and getting 20-ounce steaks and this thing and that thing. And we were also in Philadelphia, and I was eating a lot of cheese steaks, which I love a cheese steak. I can't have that really anymore, but with the gluten thing. But we'd have a cheesesteak in between meals. And for me, that was a big problem. Before I restricted gluten in my diet, I would eat the in-between meals. So I'd have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but I'd have a slice of pizza in between, or a hot dog in between, or a cheesesteak in
A hot
between.
dog.
Yeah, why not? But not just one. No one eats one hot dog. I'd have like 4.
See, this is why it's so important for me to keep on asking this guy more questions, because for the people that are watching this all the time, they're looking at Nick. He asked all the right questions. He's got beautiful skin tone. No one realizes that you are a fat bastard, 25 pounds overweight.
That's
right?
me, yeah.
So a lot of times when people, Mike Lynch is a trainer, 30 years, we've been there too. I've been overweight. Now you've let the audience know you've been 25 pounds overweight. So if you're looking at this and you're watching our material and you're saying, oh, I'll just listen, but they don't understand where I've been, you've been there, Nick, and so have I, right? 25 pounds. I know that I've been 55 pounds
And
overweight.
I will acknowledge that there are people who are very, very heavy. And I don't really know what it's like to be 100 pounds overweight, 200 pounds, overweight. And that is a very, very steep hill to climb to get that off. But that journey for them starts just like my journey started, by recognizing that you have an issue and by taking steps, setting a goal and taking steps to get to that goal.
Right. And that person that's 100 pounds overweight, Nick, they may be 5 inches taller than you. They might be 5 inches shorter than you. But guess what? The 100 pounds that they need to lose, they did it to themselves. Whether it's 25, 50, 75, 100, you did it to yourself, and you owe it to yourself for whatever time you have left on this planet to get it off.
True.
And complaining to a therapist or taking a medication or talking to your fat friend is not going to help the situation. You need to get it off. 25, 50 pounds, it's all the same. It's called fat. It's killing me. I need to get it off. And it's just a number. So whether it's 20 pounds, Nick, 30 pounds, or 100 pounds, it really doesn't matter, because what you need to get it's just a number, Nick. It's the lifestyle that matters. It's exercise, it's whole foods, and it doesn't matter if it's 500 pounds, Nick. It's all the same shit. Because the number, Nick, as the number climbs, people get smoked out. They feel it can't happen. It doesn't matter. It's just a number. Forget about the number. Worry about the foods that we advocate for, the exercise and the cardio that we advocate for. And it doesn't matter if you're at 300 pounds, 200 pounds, 100 pounds, 25 pounds. We're going to get you there. It's all the same shit. So forget about the past, because that's dead and gone. And the future is just a booking in time.
Right. Right. And like we said before, set a goal, but just because you haven't reached that goal yet doesn't mean you're not winning. If you are trending in the right direction, you are winning. If you have lost 1.5 pounds for the last few weeks, you are on the right track. Feel good about what you're doing. Keep going with that. And that's going to really put you in a better place.
Yeah. Actually, you said this in the last podcast that we filmed last week, that with certain things, and we talked about blood pressure, you could actually see symptoms, positive, to changes within a day or two. And I think we referenced blood pressure, right?
Yep.
Within 24 to 48 hours, you could actually start to see changes in blood pressure. And even maybe if you're on the 5th spot on your belt, you're now at the 4th. It happens quickly. You know, your body, Nick, you know this better than anybody. Your body wants to be healthy. And as soon as because it's a dark road, brother, you know the deal. I know the deal. When you're eating shit, guess what you do? You eat more shit. And when you're lazy, you get more lazy, right? But as soon as you said, hey, shit, I've had enough. I'm going to do the right thing here. I'm not going to do extreme nonsense. As soon as you start to clean out the rust, the body starts to trend in the right direction pretty much within 12 hours.
Now, people have to remember that there's a mentality called the starting Monday mentality, right? Where they're making a plan of when they're going to get their shit in order. Well, I'm going to do it Monday. I'll do it because this weekend I have a big holiday coming up.
I love when Nick educates me almost every time we meet. He introduces me to new terms, strategies, health, statistics. What is it called? The Monday?
Starting Monday. Because if you're starting Monday, you're just pushing it off to some imaginary perfect time to start this new way of eating or this new diet exercise routine or whatever it is.
Is that, am I wrong? Is that a loser's mentality?
It's a loser's mentality.
Okay.
Because there's never the perfect time. There is never now is the perfect time. Right now is the perfect time to start changing things. If you're waiting until a birthday is over, if you're waiting until the holidays are over, if you're waiting until there's always something. As we all know, every other weekend there's a birthday party or a holiday or some vacation you're going on or something. There's always some reason for you to decide that I got to just wait until X and then I'm going to start.
Okay.
You have to start today. Today is the day that you start to make changes. And again, that is not to say that you should change every single thing about your diet today because you will not hold on to that. That will fall apart immediately.
That's a loser strategy too.
Correct. But
It seems like a winner strategy, but it's a loser strategy.
well, because it's a winning strategy for the day and a losing strategy for a lifetime. And I think that's what's important.
It's unattainable.
What we want is for people to create strategies that will last a lifetime. And most times, diets will not last a lifetime. You need to create a situation in your life where just the way that you exist, the way that you live is healthy. And especially with eating, and I've said this before as well, you can change what you crave. You don't have to crave the bad things for the rest of your life. If you start to eliminate the bad things and bring more whole foods into your life, you will crave the good things. And then you don't have to feel bad. You don't have to feel shame about having the things that make you feel good when you eat.
What do you think? What do you think? Like the amount of days, because people like small numbers, right? Once they start to do that, Nick, how many days do you think where the body starts to like crave better stuff?
I mean, it's not a day. It's not going to happen overnight, but I think within, a few weeks, a month, 2 months,
days?
yeah, 30, 60 days, you can really start to crave healthy foods. I mean, if you're hungry and you're giving your body healthy foods and you don't have, I mean, we all know a big part of it is don't bring that crap into your house, right? If you don't want to slip, don't go on the ice. If you don't want to eat ice cream every day, don't buy 5 pints of ice cream. That's not that hard,
I like that term. I know I've referenced this like 3 other times, but I love that term that you say every time. If you don't want to slip, don't go on the ice.
Yeah, if you don't want to smoke, stop buying cigarettes. I know it's going to suck. It's all going to suck, right? Like, yeah, are you going to want the ice cream night one? Yeah, you are. But eventually, you're not. And there is a point, and you say this, you got to kind of white knuckle it a little bit sometimes, right? Especially in the beginning when you're making a change. And again, I'm not saying change every single thing about your diet, but find one thing that you're doing and try to pull that out this week and start today. Do not wait until the perfect time because the perfect time is not coming.
Yeah. Nowhere's one thing I definitely noticed that, Nick, because I'm a very diligent guy, as you know. Maybe sometimes I'm diligent to a fault. Salt, man. Salt. When I pull back on my salt, as we talked about in the past, I see a major reduction, for me at least, because there are people, oh, sodium is necessary. I see a major pullback in my blood pressure. But when I pull back on the sodium, in the short term, I'm like, ugh. But then when 30 days later, I don't check the calendar, Nick, but 30 days, let's say, when I eat something salty, it doesn't taste good. And more importantly, you know what my barometer is? I wake up in the middle of the night, dude, to pee. I'm pounding water.
Yeah.
And when I don't salt my food, that doesn't happen. I wake up, I may use the restroom, and I go right back to bed. But when I now start to get back into the guilty pleasure of salting my food or eating foods that are oversalted, which a lot of people, I'll admit, I never paid attention to sodium until I was about 35-ish. I'm 52. Man, it makes you thirsty, and the dehydration that happens from sodium. So it's kind of like you can get caught in these vicious cycles that you don't realize that you're in. And then when you make these subtle changes that you always speak about, they're not really subtle. It's because when you go back, and again, something that I never focus on, because I do focus on cholesterol and lipids and blood sugar and all these different things and body fat. Whoa, do you feel the negative aspects? And you're like, oh shit, it's not subtle. What I'm doing here is actually pretty fake. You know?
Can you remind people, because a lot of diets focus on overly restricting caloric intake, right? Not eating, really cutting back on the amount of food you're eating, but that can put your body into a fight or flight mode.
Correct.
And can you just remind people quickly, like what happens there and why it's bad?
When somebody is fat, Nick, and I can say most Americans are not in a place where they're in a situation where they're searching for calories, right? Where we're all getting, obesity is pretty much on a basic level, a product of too many calories for too little or too much inactivity, okay? So when somebody is overfed, i.e. too many calories, too little activity, right? And you can never flush it out, right? Because some people will say, oh, you're just exercising, you can eat whatever you want. Well, that's not true, because you can always eat your way out of any good exercise programs, right?
Sure.
So a lot of people will either be shamed from someone and say, hey, you're a fat, get really bad blood work, a doctor, there's a power, Nick, to a guy with a white coat with a stethoscope around his neck saying, hey, if you don't get your shit in order, Nick, Mike, you're dead in fucking a year. You're hypertensive, high cholesterol, whatever it is. Now people will get freaked out, and now they'll reduce their calories, and hopefully they start to exercise, cardio, strength training, and now they go into what's called the caloric deficit. And let's say somebody got fat, for argument's sake, for easy math, Nick, 4,000 calories, but the energy expenditure was only 3,000 calories. They're taking 1,000 calories in surplus, and they're accumulating lots of adiposity, i.e. body fat. Now they get super motivated because they're scared, because their wife is, talking about how hot Brad Pitt is and how fat Joe is, right? And now they go from 4,000 down to 2,000. Well, guess what? From here, Nick, to here, everything's great. They start to lose weight, blood pressure comes down, viscosity, the blood starts to get thinner, everything's great, they're feeling great, they're lugging less shit around, i.e. body fat, but then they stay on that deficit, but they really need 3,000, 3,200 just for basic metabolic functioning. And now they're at 2,000 calories because they got freaked out because Dr. Stein said, you're going to die, i.e. my wife said, I don't want to have sex with you anymore, I like Brad Pitt instead of you. 2,000 calories, month 1, 2, 3, exercising, burning 500 or 600 calories, hired the overzealous trainer. Now I'm at eating only 2,000 calories. I'm only eating 1,200. Sirens start going off in the body. Free testosterone goes down. SHB, sex hormone binding globulin, goes up. Cortisol, stress hormone, goes up. Starvation, when the body starts to what's called leptin and ghrelin. These are satiety mechanisms in the brain start to go, hey, you're starving to death. Your body doesn't know that you're not in the woods with no food.
It thinks there's a famine.
There's a crisis. And guess what happens? Your body just says, you, Johnny, testosterone down, thyroid function down. Oh, by the way, Johnny, go eat something quick because you're starving to death. Your pecker doesn't work anymore. Your skin's drooping. You have no zest for life anymore. And now what happens, Nick? What happens? It starts with a B. The binge.
Oh, that's right.
The binge. And then you just say, and you go and eat and give your body a big surplus of calories. And guess what happens? You feel good. You feel good. You start to eat, you get protein, fatty acids, caloric surplus. You just gave your body a financial bonus. Wake up with a pecker that you haven't seen in months. Energy. You got energy. You wake up the next day, you're like, ah. And you feel hot, the metabolism, because your body's metabolizing the calories. You got a bolus of nutrition. Hopefully there was an apple or maybe a chicken breast or a steak in there. And you feel good. You're like, oh, that diet didn't work. See, dieting just doesn't work.
For me, dieting doesn't work for me,
Yeah.
but you did it. You went too crazy.
Yeah, you
pushed too hard.
You went from Fat Frankie to depleted Danny, right? You went from one extreme, you went from one death situation to another death situation. To your point, Nick, they got to come in the middle.
I think what I want people to remember is don't make it too complex. Don't make it too difficult to follow, and don't make it too extreme.
How do they do that?
I think you slowly ramp up to your new way of eating, right? You slowly start to take one thing out a week that you know you're probably not supposed to have all the time, save it for the cheat day, and introduce one new thing every week. Try a new vegetable every week. Look up a new recipe. Make it something fun that you can do with your family if you're living with other people, or if you're alone, make it something fun you can do with yourself, right? Try new recipes, try to prepare things differently. If you don't think you like broccoli, have you had it 13 different ways? Probably not. Try a new broccoli recipe. Try a different recipe for a vegetable that you haven't had in a while. And also, your taste buds are different than they were when you were 14 years old. If you don't think you like vegetables because you didn't like them when you were a kid, that's not the case anymore. You know? And also remember, don't drown vegetables in things that are unhealthy, right? Don't take your vegetables and then make them into something that you probably shouldn't have anyway. And I think if you can do that and you start to make those changes, you'll find that you can get yourself to a caloric intake that's going to be more aligned with what your body wants without saving too much for a rainy day. Because saving too much for a rainy day is where you're packing on those pounds, right?
Yeah. And then I think that, like, maybe you'll agree with this, but I think people like take things, right? Because we have lifestyle, we have exercise, blood work, and nutrition, right? And you say, all right, I'll go and get my blood work done. What's off on that, right? Then I take a photo of myself. What's off on that? How do I feel? Do I feel energetic? Do I feel depressed? Do I feel lethargic? And then take a snapshot in your mind of all these things and say, what is the hierarchy here, right? Like, what needs to change first? Well, my cholesterol is off the charts. Well, okay, we got to take care of that.
So I feel like you're telling us just to look at what the most important things are and to start to make those changes, right? Blood work from your doctor, super important, right? The way you look in the mirror, really important. The way you feel, probably the most important, right? Because these things are really important. Find one thing to change to get you to a better place by one of those metrics.
Right. Kind of look at it as a baseball field, right? You're at home base and then get to first base first. right? And that might be fixing a blood marker that, let's say your fasted blood sugar is off.
Sure.
Cut the processed carbohydrates out, get the carbs a little lower, right? And then and second base is, all right, now you took care of that. Second base is my energy. Maybe my muscles start to do some strength training, right? And then work towards that. Maybe I have my erectile, for men, erectile dysfunction is a little off. Now my hormones are getting better, and take little tiny, like you always talk about, little tiny incremental changes, and then that will lead to the land of success.
To that home run.
Yes.
Getting back to home plate.
Home run, I like it, Nick, because when you try to do it all at once, you will crash and burn every single time.
Yeah, it's true. All right, well, we're going to end it there. I think this was a shorter episode. I wanted to keep it that way. We hit people with a lot of good information. My big takeaways here: forget the drastic all or nothing diets. Give yourself that slow, nice pace towards getting to that healthy lifestyle. Get yourself to first base, second base, third base, like Mike said, and that'll eventually get you to that home run position where you are at your ideal weight, where you're feeling healthy, you're looking good, and you're going to be the best you.
Absolutely. Nick said it best. So many times we want to go quick, but the faster you get to a destination, the sooner you get back to where you became or where you started from.
Yeah.
So taking these little tiny steps will get you maybe a little slower to where you need to be, Nick, but it's a place that you can land and stay.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people are like, oh, this person lost this or this. I said, don't worry about it. They lost it, they'll find it. It's not about losing it. It's about gaining it. And most importantly, Nick, best word, keeping it.
Yeah.
Keeping fit, keeping healthy, keeping energetic, keeping confident, keeping on the LynchFit podcast.
Words to live by. Keeping healthy, keeping fit. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this time. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got a lot of good information out of this episode. And we'll see you on the next one.
And keeping cued in and tuned in to the LynchFit podcast, sharing, liking, and spreading the word. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Please hit the like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any content in the future.